Welcome to On Location, a public affairs program brought to you by your friends here at Beatty Televisual. I'm Kurt Claycomb, host and production manager with Beatty Televisual. Today we're going to talk with a friend of mine, somebody who you already may know. I met Tony when I began working at WICS TV 20. Tony had worked there for nearly 2 decades and was very instrumental in storytelling. It was truly a pleasure to sit down with Tony. And welcome back to On Location. Today we're joined by a very special guest, a gentleman that I met some years back over at Channel 20, and quite frankly, one of the most recognizable faces that you will find in Springfield television. That's Mr. Tony Thompson. Tony, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It's great being here.
It's a privilege to be able to get you in here
and
talk to you about the past and your past specifically.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, where did things start for you back in I guess the diaper age?
In the diaper age, well, I was. It started back in the Tar Heel state of Durham, North Carolina,
okay.
My hometown, and born at Duke Hospital there in '59. Started in photography when I was, say, about 7 years old. Got in trouble.
Is that right?
Got in trouble with my grandfather. My grandfather was a huge photographer. He had the old Browning cameras around the house. And back in the day, in the country, you had shotguns in every corner and cameras. I guess if you shot somebody, you take a picture and say, hey, it was self-defense.
Didn't have social networking.
Yeah, didn't have social networking. But in all seriousness, my grandfather had Browning cameras, and he told me not to mess with them. But as a 7-year-old, you didn't listen to your grandparents. You ended up taking pictures anyway. And then my grandfather developed the pictures and thought they were nice. I took shots of my grandmother's roses, and they were framed up nice. And he told my mom, his daughter, hey, your boy got a future in photography, and it started from there.
Now, so of course you don't get to where you are now by not having the education and everything. So tell us a little bit about your travels with the education and where that took you.
Well, I started at Lincoln Land University here in Springfield, Illinois, after Southeast High when I graduated in '78.
Graduate of Southeast?
Yes, right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And after the 2 years of Lincoln Land, I went off to a little town called Marshall, Texas. It's northeast Texas and near Shreveport, Louisiana, Texarkana, Longview, Texas, to the oldest black college west of the Mississippi River, Wiley College. Some might say Wiley College, that name might ring a bell. If you remember the movie with Denzel Washington, The Great Debaters, that's where that movie originated from.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Wiley College had one of the best debate teams in the 1930s, and that's how that movie originated. And it's a United Methodist college, too, because I am a United Methodist, and that's why I attended the college. And so I studied communications down at Wiley College and worked at the radio station KBWC 91 FM.
Well, you had the voice for it, that's for sure.
I just love to play music. I didn't think about the voice. Music is one of the things I just love to hear. Relax me, get my mind off of things, get my mind off homework, even though I did my homework in the studio. And there's times where I let the record skip and forget, because I was doing some homework, wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I did my studies and graduated from Wiley College in 1984. And came back to Springfield.
And so you've always had that spark for the video or for catching something with
love video. Here's another thing, too, I got in trouble with. I'm always getting in trouble with cameras. My father bought one of the first RCA VCR cameras, came out in the late 70s, early 80s. It had the deck, you hook up to your TV, and a tuner.
Now,
and
this was the Betamax?
No, it was a VCR.
VCR.
And he got the VCR camera, and you take the deck, hook it up to the camera.
Yeah.
He told me not to mess with it, of course.
Famous last word.
I messed with it. And I was filming the videotaping it was the State Fair Parade. And it was going down Washington Street. And I was videotaping it. All of a sudden, the ground came up. We had a water main break.
Oh, no.
Yeah, on Washington Street between 4th and Washington by Myers Brothers and Hoot Gibson's piano place.
Right.
I called Channel 20, told them about it. and they bought the video from me.
Is that right?
Yes.
So that was your first
That was my
experience?
first experience. I had no idea. I wasn't even thinking about getting into television until then. That's what I said. This is what I want to do.
And that sparked the interest.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So then you joined Channel 20, WICS TV,
WICS,
in 1984?
1984, yes. Yeah, and there's a long story there, too. I was working at the Dairy Queen, used to be just west of Channel 20 in high school. I was a junior in high school. I never forget the day I worked, Don Hickman and Milt Freeland, who was the first general manager at Channel 20, came up to my window, and Don introduced himself, and I said, "My name is Tony Thompson." He said, "Hey, Tony Thompson," with his Don Hickman voice, "why don't you make me one of those great Tony Thompson thick vanilla shakes? And my boss will have one too." I said, "Yes, sir." And I was kind of nervous making this man, because you saw this man on TV every night, you know. The
icon.
Yeah, the icon, the news, the face of Springfield. And then after I made the shake, I said, and he walked away. I said, hey, I'm going to work for you one day. He said, "See me when you get through with college." And sure enough, I knocked on his door as soon as I got through with college, and he hired me.
And they took you on.
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes.
You have seen an awful lot of people come and go in this town.
Oh, my goodness.
From the interns to the people like Fred Hickman.
Flip Spiceland, some famous names. And, I mean, they made big time, you know, and they did all of them. I mean, everyone at Channel 20, they've done great. All of them done great. Channel 20 is a place where I thought it really wasn't a beginning station. It was a great station to work for, and we had some wonderful people that did wonderful news there, and I was proud to be a part of that at the time, you know. So, but yes.
Well, you're also an award-winning photographer from Channel 20.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that, but thank you.
Well, absolutely, it needs to be mentioned.
Thank you.
Multiple awards with the Illinois Broadcasters Association.
Illinois Broadcasting Association, UPI, Silver Dome. Don Hickman and I, we did a story, a Hickman's Journal called Sisters of Mercy. It's one of Hickman's quarterly half-hour shows that he did. And we did one on the Mother House out in Riverton. And I spent 2 weeks out there with the nuns. It was very interesting, shooting video. I saw a category in the Communicators Award, one of the top awards that's nationwide. And I said, "Don, we should enter our piece in it." All of a sudden, we realized once we entered the piece, weeks later, we were running against a story against Dateline NBC. I said, "Oh, little Channel 20 against Dateline, $1 million budget, dollar budget, $1 million. Come to find out, weeks later, Don pulled me in his office. I thought I was in trouble. Said, "Tony, read this." Said, "Congratulations, you got top honors. We won. We beat out a Dateline story." So that right there made my day and made my career pretty much. And winning the Communicators Awards, Award of Excellence, with the Mother House, Sisters of Mercy's program that we did for the Hickman Journal.
Now, you've also had the pleasure with various people like Jerry Lambert to actually go to places overseas.
Yes.
I think you and Jerry went to South America?
No, we went to Panama.
Panama.
We traveled with the 183rd Airborne Division. They were doing a drug siege in the Panama Canal area. And not only that, too, they go over there and do like a Christmas giveaway. They give gifts to the kids in the villages, in the poor villages, and we got to travel with them and witness them giving out gifts to kids, needy kids. And not only that, we got to fly along over the Panama Canal for the drug siege as well. It was quite scary. I can't remember the helicopter I was in, but I know I was maybe dangling 1,500 feet over the water, and I was in the gunner's seat with my feet dangling in the air with a $30,000 camera on my shoulder. They didn't pretty much care about strapping me in. They want the camera strapped in. So, but believe me, I held on tight to that camera because it was strapped in better than I was. So, but yeah, it was an interesting mission assignment, I should say. And another assignment I went on with Sean McLaughlin, who is now news director at KMOV in St. Louis. We got to go with the 183rd again with Colonel Dick Halster. He took some dignitaries from Illinois to Warsaw, Poland. And it was like the 183rd with the Polish National Guard, like a flight mission, bonding together just in case of war, that we pretty much help each other in time of need. And not only that, we did story over there with Illinois connection with Poland, where the state of Illinois at one time had state offices in Warsaw, Poland, and also with the education over there as well. And it was quite interesting trip being in Warsaw, Poland at the time.
So many travels, so many people you've met over the years. Now, is there any one person that stands out in your mind more than others that maybe influenced you the most, or you felt most proud of to meet and videotape?
It was so many through the years being over there, and even right now that I got to meet. I can't really put anyone at a higher level, because all the stories or all the assignments that I do, I try to make them all as equal. No matter if they're the poorest of the poor, the richest of the rich, I'm going to treat them at this level. I don't care if he's the President of the United States, who I got to travel with when he was campaigning, to someone who's just local. I'm going to make them all equal. But I understand what you're saying, but my very first experience with someone that really stood out, and we got to spend a couple of days with, was my home boy, Michael Jordan. We did a 3-part series with Michael Jordan in Chicago, where he first started with the Chicago Bulls. So that was interesting to get to talk to Michael Jordan and follow him around.
In his early years.
In his early years. And we had an old sports director, Keith Hardenberger, who's now up in Chicago. He said, Tony, check this out. He pulls out a Chicago Tribune, opens up the sports page. I said, okay, it's Michael Jordan dunking. Look between the legs. There I am with the camera. I said, oh my God. So I think I have a picture for you to see too as well to insert. So, but yeah, it was like the most funniest thing in the world to see.
Now, maybe the flip side of that coin, though, maybe there's something that you may rather not have shot. I mean, or are there equal things as well?
Well, on the flip side, we know how media works. Is, a lot of people think TV is all glamour, but also there's bad sides of TV too as well, the blood and gut side. It's times where I've shot tragedy, death, and to see children being pulled out of buildings burnt. That stuff right there just sticks in your head more than you shooting a person who just won $15 million at a lottery, because that's a life. And unfortunate that we have to shoot it and show it, but that's part of what TV media is all about, is showing the tragedy along with the good. And it's just, like I said, it's just unfortunate that we have to show stuff like that. But
well, one of the things that you've always told me, and that is that you can never stop learning, and that you always, even yourself, you said that you are still learning. And I think that goes strongly with every photographer that's out there.
You run into a lot of photojournalists or photographers who sometimes have that ego about themselves. You can't tell me what to do, or nah, that ain't how it's done. But me, I'm a person that, yes, I have so many years under my belt, but sometimes I see a younger person get a shot. I say, hey man, that's a great shot. What do you do? But he doesn't realize you feeded me more with my experience. And when you feed me more, I'm gonna stay that much more above you. So yes, learning is always important when it comes to television journalism. If there's conferences out there, go to the conferences if you're a photojournalist. Learning on the internet, reading materials, read or just talking to anyone in general. You can learn from anyone, anybody, anytime in the field of television.
I know I always considered you a mentor when I was working over at Channel 20, and I did learn an incredible lot from you over those particular years. So I think normally our show is 15 minutes long. We've reached that point, but I'd like to continue on, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And because I've still got some more other questions for you. One of them is the situation with what you're doing now. I mean, you're freelance, and sometimes freelance for people is a very hard thing, but it seems to be becoming natural for you. I mean, just some of the people that you've worked for over these last few years. Tell us about that.
Well, freelancing, if I knew about it 20 years ago, I probably would have gone out and taken the risk and done it. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, how you roll the dice. I've landed some jobs with Chet Burt's production. They're out of Marietta, Georgia, and they linked with the Speed Channel. Chet Burt's come around this area and do the Springfield Mile Circuit, DuQuoin State Fair motorcycle races mile down there. They do ARCA racing, which is like a step below NASCAR racing. So I've been working with him a lot. I've done some stuff with ESPN Sports, Big Ten Network, college, College Sports, I believe. Yeah, College Sports, I believe it was called at the time. And so, yes, I've been doing a lot of freelance work with a lot of production companies here in town as well. So it's been...
Now, the freelance takes you all around the country.
Takes you around the country, well, around the United States mainly. One in particular I did with a local production company in town. We got to travel to Larchmont, New York, and we did the Star Classic boat racing, and we had a couple of local guys from Springfield that participated.
You could mention them. Oh no. Londrigan?
Londrigan, right. Attorney Londrigan. Yes. Sorry about that, sir. I knew you was an attorney, but he participated in the 100th anniversary in Larchmont, New York, and we got to go out there with Betsy Moore and I guess named Paul Lamatia, and we got to go out there and we had a great time videotaping that race. That was quite an interesting shoot, and.
Well, you also did a shoot for the boat racing here in Springfield.
Here in Springfield as well, yes, sir. Yes,
sir. That was at the Island
Bay? Island Bay Yacht Club, yes, sir. I think that was one of the first ones out there, I believe. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, so.
But generally, you've done so much over the years and have been an inspiration to so many people, including myself. I'm just wondering, you know, as you see these people, and we talked about this prior to our interview, growing attached to individuals and then, unfortunately, them being taken away, like, for instance, Pat Gordon.
Yes.
Or Don Hickman.
Yes.
And you've seen people like that. Well, Tim Davlin.
Tim Davlin, yes. So there's a story about Tim Davlin, too, and I'm glad you brought that up. When I was doing a freelance job when I was still at Channel 20 in DuQuoin, we were setting up some high-definition wire, and I stepped on the grid, and it collapsed and tore my MCL muscle, and I was out for a long time. And it required me to take a month's leave from Channel 20. And one evening, I was just hopping around in the kitchen, phone rang, I pick up the phone. I said, Tony? I said, yes. Hi, who is this? This is Mayor Tim Davlin. I can't say what I want to say, but I said, this is not you. He said, no, really, Tony, this is Mayor Tim Davlin. I just called and see how you're doing. I missed you at Channel 20 and just want to make sure you're okay. And that really brought a tear to my eye, knowing that someone out there been paying attention. It really goes to show that people watch and people pay attention, especially when you're doing good work out there. And that right there made me respect the man more as a person, not a mayor, but as a person, but as a mayor too as well, but more of as a person. And yeah, that was absolutely.
I know if I could pause and reflect for a moment also upon Tim Davlin, regardless of what might have transpired and what he might have done, and I'm not saying he did, but there's a lot of accusations, but he was such a personable guy.
Very personable
I was
guy.
walking through the Blues and Barbecue Festival one time, and he just grabbed me out of the place, and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And it was just, it was just a very kind, nice gesture from the man. So it was very tragic to see how that.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that as he spent time to talk with us as humans, regular people. If someone probably had spent some time to talk with him, maybe he still would have been here today.
I think you probably hit that on the nose.
Yeah.
But regardless, you've been around the world.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And now, where can we find you today? I mean, it seems like you're kind of stepping back a little bit. You're working over at WSEC television.
Yes, sir. I'm a master control operator at WSEC PBS channel. Also, do production work for them as well, on location shoots for them, and also in studio shoots as well. And if they have special projects, Becky Crumlin, she does state-of-the-art shows, and we travel around the Midwest looking for work of arts, and they have me shoot those as well. So it's everything's looking up, and I'll also still do my freelance work as well.
Well, I would be in poor health if I did not ask you about your golfing. And
man,
are you also working at a?
Yeah, I work part time with the golf at the golf course, Bergen Golf Course. He's a church member of mine, Archer Logan, who's a golf pro. And Archer in church says, "Hey, you got any free time? You want to play some free golf? Come work for me." Free golf, free time, I'm in. So yes, indeed. So yes, nothing like driving around in a golf cart, making a little money. Can't complain there. And checking people in and having a good time. And my golf game has improved a lot. So yes, sir.
And you're also a world famous chef on the grill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I told you earlier, a good cigar, a glass of wine, and the grill, I'm in.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Tony, is there anything else that maybe you'd want to talk to our viewing audience and myself about that maybe I didn't ask you?
No, I think you pretty much hit everything on the head. I just enjoy what I do. I call it capturing history on tape and presenting it to the audience in the best way that I can. I enjoy doing stuff like that. And if I offended anyone by putting you on camera when you don't want to be on camera, I'm sorry now. But I'm sure it's going to be more of that later in the future.
Well, they just happen to get in front of your camera, right?
Yeah, that's right. If you happen to walk in front of the camera, I'm sorry.
It's done and over with.
Yes,
Tony, thank you so much for being
Blessings.
with us today.
Thank you so much,
we'll
sir.
We'll talk to you soon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, folks. And as with many interviews that we've had here on location, truly not enough time to spend with Tony. Thanks again for joining us today. We are truly humbled by everyone's response to our program. We still want to hear from you. If you have an idea or a person, please write us at On Location, care of Beatty Televisual, 1287 Wabash Avenue, Springfield, Illinois 62704. And don't forget, you can watch our episodes all the time, anytime you want, on our YouTube channel. That's at www.youtube.com/onlocation217. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next week here on Location.